Sir, your son just called me ugly, teacher said to Temba. Oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry, said Temba. I must have told him 1,000 times it is wrong to judge people just from how they look. Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams live. My name is Rams Mabote and thank you for joining us tonight after a weekend, and I hope you had some kind of a weekend, whether restful, productive. Times are different now. We know that I would have said restful weekend. I don't know, maybe every day has been restful. So we live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please tell everybody and do subscribe to the YouTube page. Good friend of mine, and I can say that without fear of contradiction, has been writing a series of advice during lockdown. And he's been sending them, I've been posting them, sharing them. But one stuck with me, the very first one he wrote. And he said, when we are faced with a crisis, we become irrational. We do funny things. We get angry. We get irrational. We get pissed off with the world. And that's exactly what has happened with lockdown. You are on those WhatsApp groups where the whole day you'll be debating some comment by somebody you don't even know because they said Corona does not kill black people, or it only affects gay people, or it does some stupid things, and the whole day is wasted on Corona. And you don't focus on building yourself and building your business. And in that period, we all lose out because we're focusing on wrong things. Allon Raiz, Chief Excitement Officer of Raizcorp, is joining me tonight to talk more about this and hopefully help you and I to get out of that irrational mode. Allon, good evening.
Thanks, Rams. Thanks for that introduction.
Always good to see you.
You too.
Yeah, I like Raizcorp more than I like you, but you're also my friend, I must say. I love the work that Raizcorp does. I'm a sucker for Raizcorp.
Thanks, Rams. And in these times, I think it's such a privilege to do the work that we do, because now as small businesses are struggling, we feel like the doctors and nurses out there, not for the people who are suffering from COVID, but suffering from the results of COVID.
It's true. It's true. So let's get to the issue, Allon. Did I capture what you were saying correctly?
Sort of. You're going to have to read it again. But what I was saying is that you have to, the title was, you have to get to rational quickly. Yeah. And this whole experience that we've had, there's no one who I know, and I'm sure that you know, and most of the viewers know, that has experienced anything like this before. Even the 2008 global financial crisis wasn't truly global in the way that COVID is. And so, we went through all the predictable phases of, first of all, denial, then there was anger, then there was blame, then there was hopelessness, and then some people might have popped out into the other side, which was to accept where we are. And what I was doing, this was already when I wrote that article, which was about I think 2 months ago now, when it first started, was I was trying to get people to be self-aware, to move themselves quickly to a point of rationality. Because what happens if you're not rational, then you start to make decisions that can damage your business. You can, for example, retrench everyone, but you might not have been the person who would have been affected. You might have actually had a huge opportunity, or you might have done other irrational acts within your business which would have set you back. So I remember calling up my mentor who lives overseas now. I've always spoken to you about him. He's 74 now. He lives overseas. And I phoned him and said, and this guy's a billionaire. And I said to him, so what do we do? And he said, how must I know? I've never seen this before either. But he said, what you must do is you must wait. Wait a month before you make any decisions. Just watch, because too much is moving. And if you make a decision in the next 30 days, you've made a decision too early. And so just wait. Obviously, there's life and death things that you've got to make decisions. But in terms of business strategy, wait a month.
And I would imagine somebody listening to us would say, but I don't have that luxury. Here's there's something that's been declared that only 1/3 of my staff must come back. I now have to take decisions and take them very, very immediately. Now, in
Yes.
that situation, what does a month mean when I have to respond to something like this?
So I think what we need to do is discern between, let's call it standard operational responses
Yeah.
and strategic responses. So if as you pointed out, that we all have to go into lockdown and we all have to leave, or we have to bring a third of our workforce back, or whatever the case may be, then those are operational things and those require some planning and understanding. But I'm talking about more strategic decisions, which is about the future. So you have to work out what gives you a future. If technology gives you a future, well, then don't make rash decisions about technology. If you are a labor-intensive business, then don't make rash decisions around your workforce, and so on and so forth. So you have to discern between these two in terms of when you're making those decisions. And what I've seen too many entrepreneurs have mixed the two up and made just these broad decisions. And then afterwards, even now, on Friday, I was talking to an entrepreneur who deeply regrets because they retrenched a whole bunch of people, but now they need some of them. They need some of them now because they've picked up some other opportunities, and now they sort of have to sort of unretrench people, which is complex in of itself. So it's those kind of things that I'm asking people just to, I don't want to say be calm, because I think we've all experienced this anxiety, but try and get to a point where you're thinking rationally.
About a week ago, no, maybe 2 weeks ago, I read somewhere somebody saying, this probably is the right time to consider selling your business because of this crisis. Is that the kind of things you're thinking about? That you can't just decide on the basis of that tweet. You got to think a bit, take a month, think about it, weigh things a bit up.
Well, Rams, it also depends on, first of all, the price. So if somebody is offering you a 10 times PE for your business, it's a good time to sell anytime.
Yes.
But I think it's about your view and what the future is. Because for me, there's this Ben Horowitz, is a very famous venture capitalist in the US. He wrote a book called The Hard Things About Hard Things. And there was a recent article he published where he spoke about the difference of wartime leaders and peacetime leaders, specifically in business. And one thing that stood out for me was that he spoke about the fact that peacetime leaders are about expanding a market. Wartime leaders are expanding their market percentage, about their percentage of market share at that time. So for me, depending who this individual is, if you're in a relatively good position, you might be able to get more market share in this time as opposed to in, let's call it, peace times, pre-COVID times. And it depends on your lens. And maybe that's a good segue, Brams, into what I'm trying to also get people to perhaps appreciate is that there is so much bad news. You don't have to, you switch on Twitter, you Instagram, the news, everywhere there's bad news. The world is coming to an end. Yeah. But what good does it do to focus on it? I don't get the point of focusing. I get the point of hearing it. Like, okay, there's a perspective, but to focus on it. And what I'm seeing with a certain type of entrepreneurs, they become so like deers in the headlights. They focused on all this negative contribution by a whole bunch of people. Some might be in the know, some might not be in the know, some will just want attention and just want to say stupid things. And all this focus, and you're a media person, bad news travels much faster than good news. So, yeah. So for somebody to make such a negative statement, then it's debates, and it's such a waste of time. To me, focus on opportunity. Focus. That's what I've done. So I've created here. I'm in my office. I've created a war room in front of me. I've got my opportunities. I've now I've had enough time to categorize them. I've got my resources. I've got what new products, what's my new who, what, my new how. I've got my big questions. I've got everything here, all my threats, all my understanding of what the consequences of COVID are going to be. And I'm only focused on one thing. I'm focused on opportunities and to turn those opportunities into success, into money, into long-term money. And that to me is what I'm focused on. So it doesn't matter if I hear that the rate of infection is higher in one place than another, or between one group or another, or one region or another. I'm in my office here focusing on opportunity, not whether it's 0.3 or 0.4, in terms of the spread.
Yes. I like what you've painted about your office. You do actually say in your piece that we have to wake up and dress for work. We have to act the part of a rational entrepreneur.
Yeah, there we are. Every day. And even I'm going to stand up to show you that I've got my jeans on, which I wear every day. I'm not even in my shorts. I wear my jeans and my Raizcorp short every day. I shave. I try and act in a way that I'm coming to work every day, even though my bedroom is, 5 meters away from my office. This is my office. I come to work every day. I say good morning to my children in the morning. I actually see my children less often now than when I was at work, because I come home much later.
You speak also about, you mentioned it slightly earlier, but I want us to spend a bit more time on that. Social media is upon us, but I think it has taken us much more by storm in this period. Mostly, and I say this with respect to everyone, because there's a bit of idle time. So we wake up, we switch on our phones, we go through Twitter and Facebook, and before you know it, it's midday, it's lunchtime, we go back. How much of this is a distraction?
Yeah, I must say, I try and reduce the amount of social media that I go on, and I also wake up, and it's one of the first things that I do. But I give myself a certain amount of time. As you know, I tweet every morning around 7, and after that, so I'll read before. And I do try and read. I don't try, like very often, if you follow people who've got, who've written stuff, it's not about like an opinion it's about I like to read stuff that's valuable to me. Mm-hmm. And then by 7, I'm done. And then my day starts at 7. Once I've tweeted, then I go to work.
Going to work alone is what we should all do. How much of that, though, is denialism? If there's not enough work for an entrepreneur whose business has come to a halt because of this time, having that wall with opportunities and strategy and targets and stuff like that, is it not slightly lying to myself?
Rams, I don't believe that. Look, it's about whether you are going to fight or you're going to just lie down. For me, the alternative, I've worked for 20 years to build this business, and I'm sure many of the viewers have even been longer or slightly shorter. Whether you're 1 year or 20 years, it makes no difference. You've worked hard for your business. To just lie down, you've gone through so many challenges already just to be around. We know that the failure rate in small business, the fact that you were around the day before COVID lockdown is already a miracle statistically. So to me, I'm not going to just go, okay, well, I'm fooling myself and I'm just going to give up. I'm going to fight, and I'm fighting. And the interesting thing is, as I'm fighting, I'm picking up more and more opportunities. And the interesting thing for me is those opportunities are not because of what we are on now, are not in South Africa. They're in South Africa. I did work already now in Egypt. I've never been to Egypt, but I've done work in Egypt since COVID lockdown. I've done work in the UK. I've been to the UK, but I haven't been there in years. I did work in the UK. I'm doing work all over the place. In Mauritius, I'm doing work all over the place. I don't have to be there. So it's because I'm looking for opportunity. It's because I'm following up on things, and it feels like, this thing now used to be a distraction. The cell phone, but now you all of a sudden, even on Facebook, I go and see, so and so is doing something. I send that person a message, but with a view to find out if there are opportunities to do work together. I'm 100% opportunity focused. I'm not. If you look at my threats wall, I look at my threats wall. And I acknowledge it because I don't want to have head in the sand. But on my opportunities wall, it's 10 times the size, if not 20 times the size in terms of the opportunities. That's my focus. I can give up if, like anyone can. I choose not to. And I'm sure many people, after so much of a fight, would rather choose not to give up.
Let me acknowledge people who have joined us on the platforms. On Instagram, we've got Kibashias. Kiba is joining us, by the way, from Dubai. We've got Kevin07 and Poloko PLK has just also joined us on Instagram. On Facebook, Sipo Masibugo, Likita Nitsepo says Budom Dala. I think he's talking to you. Nobody calls me Budom Dala. Yvonne Kabeni says hello. Ross Muller says hi all. Rodney has also joined, and Rodney also shared the stream. Thank you very much for that, Rodney. Ross Muller says this is a case of going back to normal. Rather, I think, let me read it. This isn't the case of going back to normal. This is the new normal. Adapt or die. Mokocha Mavote is watching. Rodney Ross Kreche says understanding that you contributed in the creation of publishing of the pitch deck with Engine. Your thoughts on conversational pitch, say for social capital, word of mouth. I'm not getting much advice, engagement, and coaching around such for monetary funding. I don't know if you get the question there, Allon. I don't get it myself. I'm going to read this again. Understanding that you have contributed in the creation and publishing of the pitch deck with Engine. Your thoughts on conversational pitches, say for social capital, word of mouth. If you get it, you'll respond. Eugene is also joining us. Tuso is right here.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. So he's talking about the conversational pitching in terms of which I suppose is in a weird way is selling, but with a structured way of telling a story. So I think that is the old way. Today the pitch and polish, the Engine pitch and polish thing that we've been doing for the last 10 years is a very structured way of thinking, and takes you through a slide deck to how to present your pitch. But to me, I agree, conversational pitching is far more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I said to somebody who cared to listen was that, in this period is also an opportunity to talk to your clients and potential clients without pitching, without making a sales pitch, because most of us have some idle time. This is time to reach out, find out how the virus is treating them, find out, how they're keeping in their family. And, you can sneak in somewhere in the conversation to say, is there anything I can help you?
100%. What you've just spoken about now was what I was saying with the cell phone is to reach out to people and to give, to try and help. And what I've been also trying to do is trying to listen to see what you can do to help. So we've got a 5-point plan in terms of how we're going to actually not survive but thrive through COVID. And the point number 5 is how do we help? And help others. It's important that you're reaching out, because I think people are watching what we are doing now more than ever before. I think people are sensitive, and as we've gone back to basics, this is about relationships. And I don't know about you, but all of a sudden, every single childhood friend is popping out. All the pictures from your childhood, like everyone has gone back to like being human again. Yeah. And I think people are going, that's actually quite nice to be human. Like we don't have to have these veneers. And social media, in terms of like mainly Facebook, it's got far more about, about your child. I don't know why everyone becomes so so nostalgic about their past. I know some people are nostalgic about a beer or a glass of whiskey, but some people are like bringing on the old school pictures and etc.
A friend of mine, David Root, says, what should businesses consider when restructuring or retrenching or placing staff on tails during these economic times? What is considered fair? I know it's not part of our topic, but I think, it's one of those rational decisions that you talk about that we should be taking at this moment.
I think coming back to the rational discussion about present and future, for me, all tough decision making in right now needs a framework. You need to spend time designing the framework with which you make decisions. So let me give you another example, and then I'll revert back to this. So I do a lot of investing in businesses, and people come to me with this business and that business. I have to have a way to assess whether I want to do that, get involved in that business or not. So I take that opportunity, in inverted commas, and I relate it to a framework. I've got certain rules of these are the types of businesses that I get involved in, and if it doesn't fit, then I reject it. The same thing comes to when you are making decisions internally. If you've got a framework and a decision comes in that you have to make a decision, you have to relate it to the framework that you're making. So for me, a very simple framework is about present and medium term. Present and medium term. Make a decision if the decision is right for now and for the medium term, it's the right decision to make. So that's an easy one, easy decision. If it's bad for now, but good for medium term, let's go and think about that later. Vice versa, think about that a little later. But every time you've got a decision that fits short and medium term, those are the ones you can get through very quickly. Now we come to the ones that have got contradiction between short term and long term. And that now says, okay, now what is my assessment of the factors that will make a decision good or bad? So one might be, I need money now. If I don't have money now, the decision might be good for the future, but I can't do it now. So then you have to bring in pragmatism. But first, sift out all the good decisions that you can get out first. And then you start discerning between the decisions that are practical and impractical.
Brilliant. You mentioned earlier about, the fact that on Facebook especially, but social media has now brought out some fuzzy stuff, some nice little fuzzy stuff, old friends sending pictures and stuff like that. Let's expand it a bit more. There has to be some good about this period we're finding ourselves in. There has to be some positives about. I know it's not a nice thing to call COVID or coronavirus positive. What other positives can you think about that have been brought to us? I can tell you mine first, and we spoke about it off air. I honestly believe that had it not been of this virus, we would not have accepted and embraced the digital world much quicker than we have done now.
Yes. Yeah. So I think just let's break this down into the human part. I think people, as we said, are connecting more. I think families are connecting more. I think there's far more authentic, genuine care going on now than ever before. And the one thing that I can speak for myself is everything tastes better. Like if I drink a glass of wine, it's like the best wine I've ever tasted because it's limited. If I eat something, everything just is. I'm very present and appreciative of everything that I have and everything that is in front of me. Even the fact that I'm here with some light on me, with a laptop in front of me. I'm privileged to have this where other people don't have that. So I've become so appreciative of everything I've got. But I just want to just talk about maybe because I know when I was on your show many years ago when you were on Metro, you used to ask me some humbling sidewinder questions. So this is my response back to you, Rams. You talk about that everyone's becoming digital, but the problem with that now, if you think about that, is everyone now it's just the new standard. It's just the new standard. It's not that before you had an advantage. If the majority of people were were not digital and you had an advantage over them. Now everyone is, not everyone, but most people have got to this point. So now your advantage is gone. So for some people, this is a bad thing, that because now the advantage, everyone's on it. And I'll give you a practical example. Everyone, if you were in the schooling business, there was the schools that were brick and mortar, and there was digital learning. Digital learning was different, was small. Bricks and mortar was, everyone was in bricks and mortar. There was a small percentage of people who educated digitally. Now every single school is educating digitally. All these guys who had an advantage, now everyone is doing that. So they have to think about something else. So for me, my challenge to our viewers today is to say, okay, so now we're all digital, but don't stop there. Now, what are you going to do on top of that? How are you going to differentiate yourself on top of that? And a big mistake that people make, and I'm conscious of the time, so a big mistake that people make is that they think that taking their business and putting it online and having a online store where I can sell my goods is the answer. 99% of the people who do that still don't sell anything on that store. It doesn't mean that I've become digital and put it on my store that now everyone's going to buy my stuff. So there's a lot of false reality in there too. But that was for 5 years ago when you.
You see, you've thrown a curveball at me, and I'm also conscious of time. But then the question is, but then what do I do? So now suddenly there used to be REMS. Now there's 48,000 other REMS now doing what I'm doing on air.
Exactly.
That differential is what I think everybody's thinking about right now.
Exactly. So and this is the point. Before you were on radio, you had a platform. There were a certain amount of people that had licenses to be on air. Now we've got 50 million people with licenses in South Africa, right? Everyone's got a license and everyone's got a show. I still haven't got my own live show. I'm coming to alongside 7:30 to 8 to compete with you, Rams. But the point is now, in order for you to succeed, you have to be better than everyone else. What does that mean? Is your content different? Is your process different? Do you get different types of guests? Have you got a completely wacky different approach? That to me is what I'm excited about, is how after this people start to differentiate, because this is just baseline now that we've all just upped the baseline. That's all that's happened, in my opinion.
Well, one organization that I know is completely different and wacky and amazing in how it does its business. It's called Raizcorp, that organization. I try to make talk with REMS that way and continuously try to improve what we offer, so that the viewers who have a choice to go elsewhere must stay with us, because they've got many other choices. So for them to choose to be here means we must continuously do better and better and better. So Allon, I know we are all at home. I know we're not trading, but I still believe that we should get people to be in touch with Raizcorp for future reference. How do they get hold of Raizcorp?
Okay, so 3 things. Number 1 is that we've got our website, raizcorp.com. That's www.raiz, not R-I-A, raizcorp.com, not coza.com, raizcorp.com. Then, of course, on Twitter every morning, Allon Raiz, that's ALLON-RAIZ. I tweet a lot. And then if you are looking for equity investment, then we've got another website called Partner Elite, which is www.partnerelite.co.za.
Great stuff. Lastly, Karen Kraus-Neufeld. Karen, if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, I'll get it right next time. Says, love listening to Allon. Nice to be experiencing talk with REMS for the first time. Don't move. Come back again and again, Karen. You're going to find amazing stuff. She continues to say, agree, gratitude barometer has increased. I agree too. Giving up is not really an option. That's what Tebo Hotamaha says. And there are many other comments, but I have to conclude, unfortunately, because we have limited time. Tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday. We're joined by somebody who's now coming for the 3rd time, I think, on this platform, Mahapam Piso. He's formed a platform for micro, and I mean really micro entrepreneurs who manufacture products to put their product on big shelves that they have no access to. And it's going to be inviting all of you who produce something, and it's going to give you opportunities on platforms that we have no access to. And I want people like those to come more and more on this show, because we want to create opportunity for entrepreneurs. And we will also have a quickie, which is a short interview with a small entrepreneur who wants a bit of publicity for them to grow in their business. We hope, most importantly, you join us tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And do subscribe to YouTube at Talk with Rams. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much, Allon, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Rams. Always good to be with you.
And from me, Rams Mabote, and Frederick Mabizela in the background, good night and God bless.